stand by with P1.
What's up, LTV? Come on in.
Welcome to another edition of Philly's Finest. I'm Mike Gamari.
And I'm Elvis Chouakis. We have an exciting show planned for you today. We're going to be focusing on two main themes in this episode, art and food.
Philadelphia is known worldwide as one of the epicenters of the artistic world, whether it's walking to work and sleeping and seeing the beautiful mosaics that surround our city, or the music scene where on any given night of the week you can stop in a corner dive bar and hear fantastic music. There seems to be something in the water.
Well, I don't know if I recommend drinking out of the Schuylkill River, but later in the show we will be giving you good recommendations on fantastic dessert places, amazing food truck locations, and even the best place to prepare yourself and your stomach for the next home game at the stadium. You ready, Mike?
Absolutely. Our city has a rich history of great musicians, from the Roots to Hall of Oates and more recently the War on Drugs. There is a new band on the rise. They're doing things a little differently. The indie dream pop band, The Burgeoning, has decided not to be a slave to the music industry's way of doing things and have decided to record their next album in their home right here in Philadelphia. Instead of spending their money on hiring a producer to overproduce their album, they decided to put that money into investing in their own knowledge and produce from inside their row home. Check it out.
I was in like a reading class, and one of our words for it was like vocabulary for that week, and we had the word burgeoning, and like it needs to grow and flourish.
It's really hard to put us in a box. So like, as far as the music, we pretty much do all kinds of genre, but mainly it seems to be like indie alternative pop music. It's pretty ambient, has some urbanness to it.
The Burgeoning is like rock meets groove.
We have this like dream pop element to us.
Burgeoning definitely has like a hip hop and R&B type vibe to it.
Spent time in studios, a lot of time and money, and we were never 100% completely like ear blown happy with the way it came.
Yeah, we were never satisfied with what we got from the studio. And we're broke.
Yeah, we're broke. So we
I feel like we wanted to have our own hands on it, you know?
Yeah. We wanted to sound like us. And I think we always get in the studio and people promise us, oh, we're going to get exactly what you want. And they don't really know what we want because they're not us. It's sometimes that we can't explain it.
That's true.
We can't explain it to other people sometimes, because to us, like when we're making a song and we're composing music, it just happens.
It's weird. And plus, like us recording ourselves, we don't have that pressure in the studio. We don't have that time where it's just like, oh, you got 2 hours left. Make sure you get this done. It's just pretty much free. And you know, we get to do it as organically as possible.
It's natural. It just feels right.
Plus, like, it's 2017. Like, we have
Every
all
tool.
the technology to our disposal now. It's like anybody could do it.
We learned how to record ourselves from like, you know, looking up Tame Impala, how Kevin Parker did it. Also, through our experiences in the studio, because we've yelled at engineers and producers so many times. How did you do this? What did you do? You touched our thing. Like, what did you? It doesn't sound the same. Oh, I did this. I did that.
You can find us at The Burgeoning on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you can find us at theburgeoning.com. And we're on iTunes and Spotify. And this is Mark. I'm Logan. This is Brandon. And that's Alex.
Well, I think it's pretty awesome when a band comes back to their hometown and does the album their way. They want their music to be produced their way, not by some producer.
Yeah, they have like the technology now for it, like they said in the package, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, moving on to photography. Do you have an eye for photography? What about a love for street art? How about just looking for something different to do? Well, there's a cool indie place right near the water in Port Richmond just for you. In this week's edition of Affordable Philly, where we help you find new cool places to visit for cheap, Graffiti Pier won't appear on any pamphlets or things to do in Philly, but it's amazing all the same. And the best part of Graffiti Pier, it's free.
The Graffiti Pier is situated in Port Richmond section of Philadelphia, not far from the hustle and bustle of Center City. The pier is a bit off the beaten path and it requires a walk to see the art. However, the adventure is worth it and you are rewarded with some of the best street art you can find anywhere. The pier was formerly known as Coal Pier 124 and was used to transfer coal from ships to trains. It has since been abandoned with the rise of oil and natural gas being used in favor of coal. Artists began using this abandoned space to create colorful graffiti art for everyone to see. The eye-catching art at Graffiti Pier has attracted many artists and enthusiasts in recent years, garnering thousands of visitors annually. Part of the reason the Graffiti Pier has gotten so much attention is from social media.
Yeah, we've been living in Philly for the past 3 years and heard a lot about it, and recently saw this on one of my friends' Snap story, and I was like, yep, that's it, gotta come and check this place out.
So one of my friends is a photographer, and I've seen him come here especially to take photos, and it just looked really scenic and a nice place to look around.
Local artists used the pier as a canvas to create art with a variety of different messages. Some of the art comments on world issues, while others are more playful, depicting cartoon characters like Bart Simpson, Pikachu, and even video game characters like Pac-Man.
It's just the graffiti and the messages that people have put out. I mean, if you just go deeply into it and look into it, they do have a message out. And just trying to read through that, I mean, that's something interesting. Yeah.
It's just interesting to look at how this whole place is so secluded and there's so much of art all around here. So.
Graffiti Pier is open to the public and is completely free. If you're looking for a unique way to see some of Philly's best art, Graffiti Pier is the place to go. For Philly's Finest, I'm Tim Angle.
Well, I never knew about that place. I live 10 minutes away from Port Richmond, so I guess it's off one of the beaten paths, so it's one of the hidden gems of Philly, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not from the area. I've never heard of it, but it does seem like a pretty cool place to take your Christmas card.
Yeah, actually.
In this week's edition of Philly Encore, where we spotlight some of Philly's best talent, we ran into R&B artist Kashi Aze, also known as the Mermaid of Philly. With a superstar personality along with vocals that will blow your mind, she will have you vibing along to covers as well as her original songs like her new single, No Religion. Let's take a look.
Sheena Aze. I am a Philly artist and I'm so happy to be here.
You say you got a girl, and how you want me when you got a girl.
I enjoy R&B, hip hop. I would say it's a little bit of pop in there, maybe somewhere, but mostly R&B, hip hop. I definitely like to do upbeat type of tracks and really dance and just kind of get the crowd having fun. And I started putting my hair color in. He started calling me, oh, Mermaid of Philly, and it just really stuck and it became part of my brand. I do a mixture of everything. I consistently put out my original material, but when I perform, I try to add a little bit of everything so people can see who I am and also use the cover songs to also tell who I am, but to relate to them as well, because a lot of people love to hear, something that they've heard before to just it's a good way to warm up the crowd and just say, hey, this is me, and then really dig deeper into who you are as an artist. I would say the main thing that I want people to take from my music is to just have fun with your life. Because I recently released a song called No Religion, and I take risks a lot, and that's what the song is meant to be about. It's about not having any rules or guidelines to how you want to do things. Some things just random and just do it because it makes your heart beat just a little bit faster. And I would say just when people listen to my music, just think about having fun, because that's all it was meant to be for. Music is meant to be fun. Philly is a great place to perform because everyone is different in their own way, I would say, and I don't think there are any two artists that are alike, or you can say, well, they're trying to be like so-and-so. Everyone is unique, and everyone, no one's afraid to really hone in who they are and show that, and I would say that's what makes Philly so great. I enjoy when I realize the performance is a success, when I really have the feedback from the audience, when they're letting me know that they're having a good time, and it allows me to be even more free and allows me to open up even more. I want people to think of the young lady who has a crazy good voice, who's a fearless performer, and who's very colorful.
Those look like some pretty legit videos. I'll have to check her out on online.
Yeah, and if you remember her name on the radio, then you remembered it. You heard it here first.
The mermaid.
Sheena Aze. Well, stick around. When we come back, we will be sitting down with a local businesswoman who has her feet dipped in a number of different businesses. We'll be back in 1 hot minute after this quick break.
Welcome back to this episode of Philly's Finest. Joining us now is entrepreneurial woman December, socially known as Sim Diva, who has 2 successful businesses at the age of 23. Welcome to our show. We're excited to have you with us.
I'm excited to be here.
All right, so we'll start off right away. You have a very strong personal brand.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
My personal brand, I decided because I knew that there was many different things that I was capable of and many different messages that I wanted to get. Well, one message that I wanted to get out through many different outlets. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do a personal brand. I launched simdiva.com, where you can find anything that's about me, any projects that I'm doing, any business that, you know, I'm currently operating. So from there, it's just like anything that I do, any business that I decide to create, it's all a piece of me. So my personal mission statement is to be inspired, is to be empowered, to find your innovative approach with whatever it is that you do. And that is not ever too early to start. I started really early. I opened my first store at 21. So it's just like anything is possible, and everybody's, you know, success story is going to be different. So some people chose, you know, college. Some people chose entrepreneurship. Some people may go back during entrepreneurship. So everyone's story is so different, and I just want everybody to be comfortable in their story. So I decided to just share my personal journey. So not to preach to anyone, but to just share. So maybe, you know, you'll be inspired to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Right, right. Well, tell us a little bit about your first store.
My first store, Pink Ice Cafe. It's a dessert cafe located in West Philadelphia. We don't really have dessert cafes that much in West Philly, and again, I wanted it to be a safe haven for the neighborhood. That's something that we really lack in urban neighborhoods. A lot of people come in like, you know, this store should be in the suburbs, and it's just like, no, we need that here. You know, we need that comfort. We need that place that where teenagers, you know, can hang out, get their favorite snacks and things like that. And everything again is create your own. So you can literally come into the store and create whatever it is that your taste buds is telling your brain. You can go tell the cashier, and they'll create your shake, your cake, any kind of pastry that you would like to create. So we do that.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, I've heard about this thing called the Shoe Bar.
The Shoe Bar by Sim Diva. So yeah, instead of coming into a store and you can go like pick up things, I'm like, no. I worked in retail before, and in that store I worked in the mall. So people would like leave Auntie Anne's pretzels and they would like have butter in their hands and then go touch a suede shoe. And it's just like, after you touch that suede shoe, we can no longer sell it. So I'm like, you know what? It's all about experience. When you come into the shoe bar, you have to sit down at the bar. You'll have someone serving you the shoe that you're interested in and your size, complimentary wine. So it's a whole entire shopping experience. Wow. And I mentioned innovation. So that was my approach for innovation.
That is pretty cool. I've never been to a shoe bar.
Yeah, neither have I, besides mine.
So you created it. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
what was your biggest obstacle with, I guess, both Pink Ice and the shoe bar? What were some of your biggest obstacles?
I would have to say because I was self-taught. So I mentioned earlier that I didn't choose college. I knew for a long time that I didn't want to go to college. So I wanted to get to my limit to where I could go, you know, aside from going to college. So now I'm at my peak to where I can meet it to be able to self-teach. So now I'm starting to take, you know, certain courses to educate myself further. But I think my biggest obstacle was that my biggest teacher was trial and error. So I had to be there and I had to endure all of the different things that came with, you know, trial and error. So I would definitely have to say that. And then being young, being minority, you know, those kind of things.
So to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, literally, yep.
How do you market your brands?
Honestly, people will come into the stores and I say, you know, how did you find out about us? Everyone says social media. Yeah. So I said, you know what, for the first year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what I can do as far as social media, and then I'll start other outlets as far as the radio, as far as, you know, billboards and things like that. I just wanted to see, you know, what I would be able to generate as far as revenue with just using social media. And right now, social media has our entire generation on lockdown. So I'm still in the midst of finding other marketing besides, you know, word of mouth, networking, things like that.
So you're 23 years old.
Yes.
You have your own businesses. What motivates you?
Because I had this crazy idea as a kid to be this, entrepreneur, this serial entrepreneur. And everybody's like, you need to do this and you need to, and I'm just like, I'm going to show you guys. So I have to say that's probably one of the things that motivate. I have to show them, and I have to show other people that don't really know what it is that they want to do, that listen, you just have to take yourself, implement it into your career, and you'll be able to build your career instead of finding one that someone else already built for you. So that has to be what's motivating for me.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for being
Thanks
here with us.
Thanks for having me. I was excited. Thank you.
We were. What's
It's okay.
Do you have any more brands that you're thinking of or interested in?
Yeah, so right now I'm currently implementing mink lash services into the shoe bar. So there's going to be a lash bar inside of the shoe bar. So you'll be able to get a lash by some diva.
Is it complimentary wine too?
Yeah, it's always complimentary wine. If you're of age, So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where would that be located?
That's 5248 Market Street.
Okay, so right on Market Street.
Yeah.
Is there any other businesses like that around there?
No, actually, no. And that's why I mentioned, innovation and things like that. I want to get back into mentoring, but I figured, there's certain things that I have to continue to set in order, and I'll just have to let them watch and lead by example right now versus me, trying to tell other people how to do things on their own. So the mentoring aspect of it is definitely, I'm going to keep on going. Yeah.
Who was your biggest mentor growing
My
up?
mom.
Mom.
My mom was a teenage mom, and it's just like all of the odds were set against her. You get what I'm saying? So it's like she became a cop. She went into real estate, things like that. So she set the bar really, really high. So, I definitely have to keep standing to my word that, Mom, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to be successful, and I promise you I won't fail at it.
That's good. Yeah, no, awesome. Well, thanks again for being here with us.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good... Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with another quick break. Wait a second. They moved the camera.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Philly's Finest. We're already taking you through the artistic world of our amazing city. From Graffiti Pier in Port Richmond to an amazing singer to a band who is breaking the rules on how to produce an album. What do we have for this part of the show, Mike?
Got a sweet tooth you need to satisfy? Then check out Philly's new hotspot, Pink Ice Cafe. Although it hasn't been open for too long, the town is already talking with a large social media following and support by the local celebrities like Lee Mazin and Milano. Customers are lining up to try their tasty treats. They are mostly known for their crazy milkshakes like banana pudding or red velvet cake milkshakes. In today's edition of Philly Scoop, where we take a look at the best dessert places in Philly, we sent our crew out to find out what all the talk was about. Take a look.
If you're looking for a dessert place that will make you melt to your knees, check out Philly's new hot spot, the Pink Ice Cafe. This up-and-coming cafe offers new and spunky ways to enjoy desserts.
Hey guys, I'm Sakaya. I work here at Pink Ice Cafe. I've been working here for a little over a year now, and I'm going to show you guys how to make the banana pudding milkshake. We let the customers choose their ice cream flavor. They'll pick their favorite flavor, or if they say, like, can you surprise me, we'll give them the option. We'll let them know, like, our best sellers. And we'll blend it with our homemade banana pudding. That gives it, like, the extra thickness, extra rich taste. And then if they ask for whip, we'll give them whipped cream and finish it off with the vanilla wafer. Aside from the banana pudding shake, our other best sellers are the red velvet cake shake, which is really good, and then our cinnamon toast crunch shake, which is also really good. And customers have the option to choose, their favorite ice cream flavor to blend with it.
My favorite menu item, if I had to pick in any order, it's technically three. My first choice would have to be a cookies and cream milkshake with cinnamon toast crunch as toppings. Then it would be a hot sausage, and I do recommend the pink ice crunch. I feel like what makes Pink Ice different for me personally is it catered to more of the younger crowd. Because when you go to other cafes, I wouldn't say they're more upscale or anything like that, but it's just it's more adults there, like, you know, kids and teenagers can come here, especially young people, and just vibe with one another, like, you know, take in all the culture that Phinest has to offer.
Make sure to follow them on social media and become one of many happy customers of Pink Eyes Cafe.
So you actually went there, Elvis.
Yeah, I actually went there, and it's probably, to me, one of the most hidden gems in Philadelphia. I mean, they had so many combinations with ice cream. You can add like an ice cream with like cookies and cream and like caramel syrup and all that stuff. They also had some different stuff like hot dogs and pretzels and chips and, you know, basic like dessert stuff. And also the main feature of that place is their milkshakes. I mean, they had a red velvet milkshake, cinnamon toast milkshake. I think, Mike, you said you're a big fan of milkshakes, right?
Yeah, milkshakes are my favorite food. I try and have one a day. My favorite flavor is chocolate, but I would definitely be down to try one of the Pink Ice Cafe flavors.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good place. Philadelphia's ever-expanding food truck scene is clearly on the rise. Not only are more awesome trucks rolling in every week, but new food trucks seem to be popping up just as quickly. For this week, our crew wants to explore the different food trucks that Philly has to offer. Let's check out on what our crew found in this package.
Right by 19th and Only, you can find a variety of different food trucks. People come out here every day to order breakfast and lunch. In the past, there has usually only been one food truck, but recently, more have appeared right outside of LaSalle's campus. This allows for students, teachers, and members of the community to have different options when looking for something to eat. One of the more popular spots to eat is at the Hill Brothers food truck. This food truck has endless options, from chicken gyros to kebab rice and even cheesesteaks.
Halal Brothers is definitely my favorite food truck. Like, their food is so much better than any of the other places. It's like, it's not even close.
People seem to visit these food trucks quite often.
Halal Brothers, I come here too much. I come here like 3 times a week probably. Too much.
There are so many options, but what is the best choice?
The combination rice. It's got like the chicken and the lamb with the hot sauce, white sauce. It's perfect.
Combination of rice. A lot of people be getting that, you know. So yeah, it's pretty good.
The workers also seem to like the North Philly community.
Community is pretty good, you know. Like the students is pretty friendly and they like the food, you know. They always come and visit, and we have a very good bond.
So if you're really hungry, go grab a bite to eat from one of the food trucks. For Philly's Finest, I'm Dave Roberts.
You know, Elvis, I see you at the food trucks like at least twice a day.
Yeah, they're
on my way to class.
They're very convenient, dude, and they're really cheap as well. So you definitely check them out if you have the time to.
The beginning of fall has a completely different meaning for sports fans than it does for the general population. For most, the beginning of fall means crisp nights, foggy mornings, falling leaves, and a trip to the pumpkin patch. But for football fans, fall marks the end of a 7-month countdown to the beginning of football season, or more accurately, tailgating season.
Whether your team is top ranked or one with only a few bleachers around the multi-purpose field, tailgating is always magical. It's the perfect time for fans to catch up before the big game. Tailgating is full of fun and unique traditions that you definitely don't want to miss out on. And if you're going to host a tailgate, you do it right. Here are some cool tips to help you plan your ultimate football tailgate.
Tailgating, a common pre-sports game tradition. But, according to these Philly sports fans, every good tailgate needs...
Having good food's really the most important part because it really makes the atmosphere a lighting, really gets us excited before the game starts. My favorite tailgate food has gotta be a hamburger. I love some hamburgers.
And with good food, of course, goes the grill. Don't forget the cooler. Some good friends. Load it all up in your truck. And you're ready to go. And don't forget to rep those
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles. Big week.
Yeah,
Big week.
Dallas week. It's
Dallas week.
Bring on Dallas, man.
No
Bring on
Zeke.
Dallas.
Big win. Go Birds.
Let's go Eagles. Well, that does it for this week's episode of Philly's Finest. If you had as much fun as we did, check out all of our shows and more on our YouTube account. Just search LaSalle TV Philly. And also smash that like button on Facebook at LaSalle TV.
Well, Elvis, it looks like it's time to leave the building. Until we meet again, I'm Mike and Mary.
And I'm Elvis Chouakis. Go explore your day.
Et les prévisions du temps maintenant, Gisèle, c'est du mauvais temps en fait, des nuages, de la pluie en perspective.